Hey y'all, hey, it's me, Portia O, your host of Lifin podcast. And I am here once again with another episode of the Lifin podcast with me. I don't know why I keep repeating that, but whatever. We're here. Listen, today I'm going to tap into something that I didn't even really know existed until I was forced to face it. But before we get into it, let me introduce those. If this is your first time here on this podcast, we talk about how life be over your life via all types of relationships, situations, and everyday things we are experiencing all in real time, healing and learning how to be a better human being. So if that's what you want, you are in the right place. Welcome. I'm glad you found me. Going on, jump on into the podcast chat. We're gonna go to my segment. I got some questions, y'all, because y'all know I stay with the questions, aka better known as the inquisitive one. Okay. So these are questions I plan on answering throughout this podcast. All right. And they are also questions that you can utilize at home. Feel free to write them down and answer them for yourself, or you can answer them with me throughout, this podcast. Who can really make you upset? Jesus. If quite a few people popped in your head as soon as I said that, yeah. Let me know. Who can make you upset? Next question. What are the circumstances surrounding this feeling? Okay. What are the circumstances surrounding the feeling? The third question. When is it appropriate to express your feelings? Can you do it in public? Should you do it behind closed doors? Should you just not address them at all or tell somebody? When is appropriate? Okay. Fourth question. Why are you truly angry? I mean, sometimes we need to ask ourselves questions actively in the moment of things. But why are you truly angry? Okay. And the last question. How often do you find yourself here? Here being in this positioning of anger. That's right. Today we are talking about anger. And the title of this episode is I'm Not Angry, I Think. I titled it that because that's truly how I feel. Like, I'm not an angry person. What are you talking about? But whatever. Let's get into it. Okay. Next segment. All right. And in this segment, if you didn't know, that's okay because your girl, Portia, is here to tell you something I know or what I have recently learned. I didn't know that anger was rooted in me for so many years. To me, it wasn't showing up like how I typically view angry people, okay? And all truthfulness, it explains so much of my attitude towards certain things, okay? Another truth bomb is I am low key ashamed of how I've handled certain things, right? And handled or mishandled this anger problem. Anger is a base emotion of the emotional wheel. Google emotion wheel, okay? And when you Google an emotion wheel, you will see that anger is a surface. That's the better word. Anger is the base emotion or the surface emotion that you're displaying. But these are things, and it's levels to the emotional wheel, right? So the first level is anger. But if we dig a little deeper, you could potentially be feeling let down, humiliated, bitter, mad, aggressive, frustrated, distant, or critical. And if we dig a little further down, okay, because those emotions can be broken down further. If we dig a little further down into it, you could be feeling betrayed, resentful, disrespected, ridiculed, violated, furious, jealous, provoked, hostile, annoyed, withdrawn, numb, skeptical, or dismissive. Okay? These are all things that you could potentially be experiencing, and that explains why you're outwardly showing anger. Okay. And too many times, and I'm guilty, my anger has been show up as anger, but it's been because I was disappointed, or I felt violated, or I felt dismissed. And because I felt dismissed, and instead of me using correct language to express how I felt, I immediately just go to anger, right? And you know how y'all hear people say, I could go from 0 to 100 real quick. I can go from 0 to 100. Ain't no in between. Ain't no gradual build. It's like boom, taking off there. That's because that person hasn't dealt with the anger that is deeply rooted from the bottom, for a long period of time. And now, anytime somebody makes you feel like disrespected or ridiculed or indignant or mad or frustrated, or you feel provoked or hostile, you are instantly going to anger. So we're going to get a little further into it, as we always do. And I'm going to flip on over to my segment. This is just my life experience, okay? This is where I share with you guys interesting story, related to relationships, about my life, yada, yada, yada. This is Life Be Life. Y'all know it's about my life. That's what we're going to talk about, period. Okay, so here, these are some steps that I had went through in processing my anger and what was happening here. What actually triggered all of this is my current dating life. But no, for real, my current dating life has shined a light on this and forced me to dredge up this emotion. And I have been pushing it into the pit of me for so long. I've been led to do some unknown work, which is my shadow work. Shadow meaning it's in the background, just like your shadow is behind you. It's always there with you everywhere you go, but you can't, you know, whatever. It's just there. But that's what that essentially is. It's unknown things inside of you, unconsciously or subconsciously, and you are operating in a space because those things are rooted in you, and you don't know like how it is really affecting you. So you got to go do the shadow work. You have to journal through it. You have to work through this thing. You have to expose it, for what it is at the the beginning of it, right? But it's a process. You have to work through it. Okay. So yeah, that's what I had to do. And I was talking to my therapist about it, and she the one that kind of pointed it out to me. And I was like, girl, no, I ain't angry. What are you talking about? I'm not angry. I'm just hurt. And like, no, when I did the journaling and wrote it out, I kid you not, I was forced to face these things, right? So again, so I'm just gonna break down the process of this for me and how I got to where I am in this moment with it. Okay. So the cause, okay, if I break it down in the cause, and remember everything I say here, if you want to apply it to yourself to kind of process some things, please feel free, take notes, rewind, whatever you need to do, pause it, whatever. So the first thing I went to figure this out, to work through this process. Basically, this is how I got through my shadow journaling. I figured out the cause of it, right? So I just named some surface stuff. So one cause for me would be my past relationships, right? Um, my past relationships. Oh Jesus. I've shared with you guys before. Um, a lot of times in my past relationships, I felt small, pushed to the side. I felt very frustrated. I felt disrespected. I felt a lot of those feelings violated, especially with giving my body to somebody and they consistently cheating on me and things like that. And it was all planting in me from the roots of it. Like the seed was planted there. But once it started to sprout and the roots started to form and get down in there, I felt, um, I started to go really numb. And the roots have been planted and they grew into bitterness for me. And child, listen, I tried my best. I didn't even know I was bitter. And this, like writing this out, has made me realize, you're bitter, Portia. And I got that confirmation further when I was listening to a sermon for church, with my church, and it was talking about, yeah, that's what that is. That's bitterness, babe. Because if you had forgiven it and let it go, or whatever the thing that had happened that made you feel those ways, right? If I had let it go, it would not be still there. And instead of me letting that seed fester and sprout, essentially, I I didn't do that. I didn't stop it from producing. I just kept watering it essentially every time an offense happened to me. And in turn, bitterness grew and grew and grew. And I'm just walking around like, everything's fine. Because in the inside, I had suppressed it so. I wasn't acknowledging what was actually happening to me actively in the moment. And even if I did have a moment with myself, I wasn't letting the other person know, hey, you made me feel like this. Instead, I was acting out. I was acting out. Okay. I was cursing, screaming, yelling, sometimes to the point of physically getting in somebody's face and muffing them or pushing them or whatever because I was so angry. All right. Or I would just withdraw, right? I would completely withdraw and act like the thing is not happening, being totally avoidant to recognizing what was actually going on, and not just in, like I always say, child, and it wasn't even just in romantic relationships. This is how I dealt within my relationships in general. Okay. And so the next part I had went to, okay, now I know the cause, right? Quote unquote cause. I'm gonna say that. What I felt caused me to be so angry. I mean, I'm doing that. The next thing I did was recognize my triggers. Okay. So I'm like, all right, I know these things potentially cause me to feel this way or to be expressive in this emotion. But what triggers me to get to that point, Portia? Let's recognize what that potentially could be, right? And one of my biggest pet peeves, and I'm sure I've shared it on here before because it is my biggest pet peeve, is someone insulting my intelligence. Okay. Now, if we want to break it down a little further, because I feel like my self worth is already have a lot of holes punched into it, right? And so when I'm already feeling some type of way about myself, now here you come, or another person comes and proves me right, extent in their behavior, i.e., again, back to someone violating me, misusing me, or disrespecting me. Now it's like trick what how I internalize that is you thought enough of yourself, and you thought so little of me that you thought that you could do that to me, and I wasn't smart enough to know what you were doing, or to know that, oh, it's like a kid hiding something behind their back and telling you to their face, I'm not eating the chocolate. And the chocolate is all smeared all over their face, but unbeknownst to them, you can see the chocolate on their face, right? And but they got the candy behind their back. They're like, I'm not eating that candy. What are you talking about? I love you. I wouldn't lie to you, mommy. I wouldn't do that, right? But you see all the evidence, all the things all over them, and it's like I can ignore that your face is all smeared with chocolate and believe you because I love you and I know you as my child or my significant other and my friend or my family member. And why would you purposely hurt me in that way? So unless you thought I was dumb, unless you thought I was so stupid that and you didn't think, oh, that my feelings mattered. So again, you are insulting my intelligence. You're thinking I'm so small and so minute and so insignificant that you can do such a thing. And I'm going to stand there and I'm going to stick beside you. I'm going to stand there and be right there with you, like, yeah, it's okay. I understand you made a mistake. And it's like, and you think you can just give me a few little sweet nothings and tell me how much you love me, how much you care, and I'm supposed to be like, well, he really do. And now I'm also, like I said, I'm always gonna be honest with you guys. I was that girl once upon a time. Did I want to be that girl? Absolutely not. But have I allowed certain things to happen and known that this person has violated me essentially before? Absolutely. Because I'm like, well, he said he was sorry. Let me be forgiving, especially the church background. Child, let me be forgiving. Let me give him grace. He's learning. Excuse after excuse after excuse. Baby, no. No, you don't have to take that. You don't have to take that. But now I recognize, oh, you thought I was stupid. You thought, oh, because I see she got low self-esteem. I see she don't have no self-worth. So I could do her like that. She ain't gonna do nothing. She's still gonna be here. All I got to do is buy her a pair of shoes, buy her a favorite piece of jewelry, or take her out to dinner, give her a hug, give her a kiss, woo woo woo, woo woo woo, all will be well. And that worked for that time in my life. I was young. I was dumb. Um, to I wasn't dumb. I was ignorant to the things that the manipulation and the tools that they were utilizing to get over on me. Right. Even with one of my ex situationships. Anyway, he lied to me the whole time, like just a blatant liar. And even if he did have any feelings towards me, you still insulted my intelligence enough to think that you can tell me, oh, this is just my best friend, him being a male. And I believe that because why wouldn't that just be your best friend? Men are friends with men. But in actuality, he was living a lie and he used me and abused me. It came at a cost for me, right? And but I was being genuine in my exchange and I took that person at their word because that's what you do. Like, you're supposed to do that. Like the natural innocence of a person. Like, why would I believe that you're lying to me about that being your best friend only? Yeah, that statement might have been true actually, but that was also your man. And so you could have just been honest about that and not been pursuant of me and wanting to mess up my life, or even if you wanted both, right? You didn't have to disrespect me in such a way or insult my intelligence that she will never catch on. She'll never pay attention. She'll never, you know what I'm saying? So that those are a few examples for me is why insulting my intelligence is a huge trigger because I feel like, man, you really think I'm stupid. And I don't know if that was truly their intention, but that's the way I received it. That's the way I internalized it. And now and forevermore, I'll be triggered by somebody thinking I'm stupid or thinking I'm not going to be smart enough to crack the code and pay attention to this. And you know what I'm saying? You can put the blinders on my eyes and tell me this and this and that. And that's not true. I'm not in that space any longer. I'm way more in tune with myself and with others around me and who I allow in my space. I'm really big on energy. I can feel when something is not right. And before, the honest to God truth is I had those feelings then, but I wasn't tapped in enough with me. I wasn't in tune enough with me and with God to understand what it was that I was feeling. And you know how they talk about a woman's intuition and all that type of stuff. But I didn't pay attention. I barely paid attention to that because I was like, no, that couldn't be. I'm just so trusting in people and they wouldn't do me like that. Because why would you be so pursuing of me just to fumble me? But they do it all the time. So, baby, please, okay? If you're young out there, don't believe the hype. Um, pay attention to the signs. Look at my episode about red flags from season 1. Baby, listen, write your own red flags. When somebody does you wrong, pay attention to the things, okay? Don't don't fall for the okie doke. But anywho, that was the second step in my whole process. I recognized that was a trigger for me. So anytime I feel like somebody's insulting my intelligence, that's a trigger for me. So now when I'm triggered because I feel like you're trying to play me, now I'm about to go there with you because what I'm not about to do is be bullied. What I'm not about to do is be soft. You're not about to play with me. And that's another thing in our culture as Black people in its entirety, not just Black women or Black men, as an entirety, as Black people, we feel like all my life I had to fight. Like we have to fight, we have to stand. We cannot seem weak. We cannot seem small. We cannot seem any of those things because we have to protect ourselves on a daily basis in this world. And it's so sad that I have to walk around and feel like I have to have this protective shield around me at all times, and I can't let nobody in. And it's hard for me to let somebody in because of all the misuse and abuse that I have endured through relationships. And it's not cool. And I mean all types of relationships in my career, in my schooling, in my home, and whatever. Like it doesn't matter. And I really highly dislike that I have to move in that way. But I have to put on this guard essentially. And I gotta keep my head on a swivel because what you're not gonna do is play with me. But I was just telling my friends earlier today, like that takes so much energy. Mm. It takes so much energy to operate in that space of like being on guard. Like, what? You're not about to play with me. And I also told people I've never had a fist fight a day in my life, like ever. I grew up in the hood and went to I was in hood type schools, whatever. Thank God I was blessed to be in a better type of school situation, but it was still hood kids there, and they still had that hood ass mindset and was trying to fight and do all the things and blah 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 blah. But I never had to fight. I never had to fight because I had a mouth on me. I learned that very early on from my mother. Hey, mom, that I could de-escalate essentially situations with my words, and not that it was like, "Come on, guys, let's talk about this. Let's not go there." No, that ain't what I learned, babe. I learned how to go there What you ain't gonna do, I bet you won't. Because y'all see these arms, y'all see these arms, y'all see. Baby, they bigger now because your girl is a little juicier. But when I was smaller, I had muscular like Michelle Obama arms. Like I was always kind of a little cocky. All right. I was just real muscular. I would be like, and I had always had big hands and a big mouth. So your girl would be like, what you're not gonna do is play me. What you're not gonna do is try to comfort me because I'm not the one. You don't want this. I will whoop your like I was whoo mouth like a pistol. I was period. Okay. And I stood in that and I had so much, but it was really an exterior survival skill that I had built up because in actuality I never wanted to fight. That's not me. I don't want to harm or physically harm somebody. I don't want to even emotionally harm somebody. But if I had to, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to show you what it is that you asking for because you trying me. You insulted my intelligence. You're trying to make me be something I don't want to be, all because of your insecurities, your pain, your hurt, all of those things. Of course, I didn't have that knowledge at that time, but now I have that knowledge that these people had other things going on. Their homes weren't good breeding grounds. Those they weren't in safe environments, so they come to school in different situations and act out, and they grow up to be those same type of adults. And we all think we got to fight to survive, and we all got to be crabs in a barrel because I got to get above you. You can't be above me. It's a whole thing. It's like a continuous cycle. But that's what I did. I still had that guard up. It was a huge guard up, a wall up. I went into my marriage the same exact way. Like you not gonna disrespect me, you not gonna mistreat me, you not. Like fighting in a fighting stance, ready to go to blows. Not, I'm not saying disclaimer. That didn't happen in my marriage. But I'm saying the attitude, the outer appearance of my anger showed up that way. Like I gotta be on guard. And I'm not, and even when we like have a conversations with our friends and our families, whatever, like, oh, I can't stand them. I want to scratch their eyeballs out. I want to do this to them, that to them. Da, 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 da. Like, I don't want it's so exhausting. I don't want to hurt nobody. I don't want to harm anybody. I just want you to leave me alone. That's what I want. That's what I truly want. I want you to leave me alone. I want you to go about your business. I want you to go over there, get out my face. Don't be trying to provoke me. Don't be trying to do any other things because you got your own stuff going on. Leave me alone. Okay? I don't want to be mean. I don't want to make somebody else's day sad or poor or any. I don't want to. It's too much energy to exhaust, and I don't want any problems. I just want to be me. I want to be accepted and loved for me, and I want the same thing for you. Okay? That's my outer shell. But I don't want to dwell in that space. I don't want to dwell there. It's so exhausting. I've been doing it for 35 years. I'm sick of it. I'm tired. I just want to rest. I want to feel safe. Okay? That's what I want. That's what I desire. The next step was acknowledgement, right? And I got this confirmation in the word that I received at my church as well. Acknowledgement. My acknowledgement of my anger was that it's not them that is making me angry. It's me actively choosing to be angry. Okay. Nobody, and this became super prevalent to me. And unbeknownst to me, I was doing this and teaching my children this. Remember, I always tell y'all they are my best teachers. They expose, they mirror me, they expose all of my flaws, they show me all the things I need to see. But I didn't realize until I was forced to acknowledge this anger that is rooted in me. That every time my kids will argue, you know how kids is, child. And my girls are 3 years apart and they're girls. So, whatever. They're always arguing about something. Well, she didn't want to play with me. Well, I don't want to play with that doll right now. I want to play over here. But I want her to play with me. It's a whole thing all the time, 24/7. It's a lot. But when they would do that and somebody does something to somebody and they'll come to my face and be like, Mommy, she made me mad. Just looking at them like, girl, it ain't even that deep. Yes, I'm one of those moms. But also, I listen to her, right? And I'll be like, she made you angry? Yes, she made me angry. And I'm so mad. And I'm like, baby, nobody can make you angry. Remember, we talk about every morning within our affirmations, I'm going to choose to have a good day. I choose to be happy. I choose to be sweet. I choose to be kind. I choose to listen. I choose to learn. I choose to exercise. I choose. You make active choices. And even within myself of being unhealed and unrecognizing what I was actually feeling and doing to myself, simply teaching them that you choose how you respond to things. You choose how you show up on a daily basis. And even in this moment that you're feeling upset, that you're angry, right? You're choosing to be angry. It's not that she made you angry. You chose to be angry. You chose that because because you feel mad right now, furious or annoyed, or you feel frustrated or humiliated or let down because your sister doesn't want to play with the dolls like you want to play with the dolls and follow the storyline that you want to do because you bossy just like your mama. uh you are choosing anger right now, and that's not okay. And when I push that back to her after I sit there and listen to her being angry and high in her emotions, I be like, you're choosing to be angry. No, I'm not. She made me mad. No, she cannot make you mad. You are choosing to be mad. You are choosing to be angry. You have the choice and the power is within you to do what you want to do. And so then she's like, and she sits there for a minute. And as I'm continuously talking to her and explaining to her how this is happening and referring or referencing her affirmations and different things like that, she's like slowly calming down. And she's like, well, and so now let's look at the emotion wheel. Let's really break this down. What's going on? Did you feel let down? Did you feel humiliated because, whatever? And then she's like, well, yeah, that's how I really feel. Well, if that's how you really feel, that's fine. And you're entitled to your emotions, but also you can choose to express to your sister right now, hey, you know what? I got angry because I really felt like you let me down when I asked you to play dolls, let's go to the beach, and you wanted to play dolls, let's stay in the house. And I didn't want to do that. And because you didn't want to do what I wanted to do, I felt let down. Right. And so I chose to get angry about that because I really want to play with you. And I really want you to do what I want you to do, right? And y'all can talk it through. And the little sister typically be like, well. My babies be stuttering, child. Anyway, well. That shout out to my granddaddy Banks. But anyway, I wanted to play like this. And all you have to do was ask, right? And then they work through it and they talk through it. And now you've exhausted all of that energy being angry and what you could have did initially. And yes, they're learning. Obviously, they're children. But this example is so simplified. This is layman's terms for some of you adults out here that still don't know how to express yourselves and your emotions. Okay. I'm guilty, but yeah, we're here now. We're here now. Okay. Instead of you getting high in your emotions and going straight from 0 to 100 and being angry, you are acknowledging I am angry, but what is making me angry? Going back to that question at the top. Why am I angry? Why? I'm angry because you didn't do what I wanted you to do. But instead of me addressing that with you and us talking it through and it being a simple fix, as you could have just asked, okay, well, that's that. Now we wasted all this energy and time and emotions, and we putting tension in our shoulders and stress in our body over some raising our blood pressure, raising our sugar levels, all the things, instead of addressing something head on in the moment in a calm, concise, worked out, processed way, right? Simple. No, give you bug. No, give you bug. That's what we like to do. That's what we like to go. We don't want to come over here. That sounds cute. That's all right, but I ain't no pump. You ain't gonna pump me. Child, little do you know, we see you. We see all through all of that. Okay? Ain't gonna bust a grape. Okay. And even if you did bust a grape, and it still ain't resolving nothing, and the only thing you're gonna be labeled as is the angry person. Oh yeah, I don't want a relationship with her. I can't deal with him because all they do is go around beating up people. Who want to deal with that? We grown. Child, I ain't trying to fight. I wasn't trying to fight as a kid. I'm damn sure ain't trying to fight as no adult. Please get somebody else to do it. But like I said, I'm guilty of the same things. Like, they got the wrong one. Don't play with me. Don't play with my sis. And the final step to all of this, we went through us writing out the cause, recognizing our triggers, acknowledging the anger and the positioning that you're in currently, actively in the moment. Okay. And then now I'm on the fourth step of this working through my anger, which is solutions. Because you know what? I might have a lot of problems as far as things happening to me, and I'm always have questions, but I also am that type of person that always wants to find a solution. I don't know if it's because of partially my training in grammar school or middle school. I was probably, or I was a part of this problem solving crew. And that was just like the most intriguing thing ever. Like we had problems, like worldwide problems or nationwide problems that were going on, and we worked together collectively as a team to find solutions to these problems and what we could do to help better this world. And here we are at Lifin. Just an extension of the problem solving team. I am here today constantly trying to solve problems within my life and hoping and praying that it helps somebody else out there that is in the same boat as me, struggling with different things in different areas and steadily trying to find solutions. The solution for me, one of my solutions is how to be better about this now, right? I ask myself, how can I be better about this now? Now that I have figured out potential causes, now that I have recognized my triggers, now that I have acknowledged that there is a problem, okay, now I am going to figure out how to be better about this going forward, period. Because I never wanted to be bitter and I refuse to be bitter. That shall not be a descriptive of Portia in Jesus' name. Okay. So going to God and seeking his strength is essential for me. God is my source. That is the word. I believe it, I receive it, and that is true. And if I lean into him, if I lay my burdens at his feet, he will be that strength that I need. I can't do it on my own. Portia has tried it for 35 years, and Portia has failed at it, apparently, because it has been brewing and festering within me. But now I am actively going to refuse to allow these bitter seeds, this anger, to steadily plant in me and grow and grow and grow. I am acknowledging these things and I am working through them. The past hurts, and moving forward, I'm not allowing it anymore to compile within me, right? And so I'm going to, by seeking his strength and releasing my bitterness I have had towards myself. Releasing the bitterness I have had towards myself. Because, listen, I am choosing to be a blessing instead. I am no longer allowing Portia to get in Portia's way. And like I told my babies, you choose to be angry. Therefore, I am no longer choosing to be angry. Will I still get upset? Absolutely. Will I still get frustrated, annoyed, feel disrespected, all of the things? Absolutely. That's not what I'm saying. Will I still be angry? I'm sure. It's an emotion. I'm going to experience it long as I am in this vessel on this earth. But what I'm not going to do is allow it to plant and get rooted in me. And I push it down and act like, yeah, it's okay. Nah, they didn't mean it. Oh, it didn't face me. I'm fine. I'm fine. And then I blow up. No, I'm not doing that. Not doing it anymore. So I choose to be a blessing instead. So I'm going to, every time I have a moment of anger, and instantly lately what I've been realizing when I have a moment of anger that shows up as annoyance or frustration because something isn't going right, blah, 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 whatever the cause is, however I got to that point, I instantly feel, if I have an outburst of anger, I instantly feel regret. I instantly feel like, Portia, you shouldn't have did that. Portia, now you know better. Portia, you need to address this. You know what I'm saying? But I really never, I was just like, oh, that was just a moment. That's not nothing. That's not a characteristic of me and my totality. But the reality is, it had been. It has been a part of me. In that moment, I might need a moment, right, to reset myself, to regulate my feelings and my emotions. And then I'll come back to that person that I have just offended with my own offense, okay? And say, you know what? This is what happened. This is why I acted this way. Or the goal is to get to the point that when I feel those triggers, I'm going to be like, hey, you know what? This is reminding me of how I feel, and using I statements, how I feel when this happened or that happened, or, this is putting me in that space. And I don't like how it's making me feel in this moment. And I don't want to pop off. I don't want to be angry, but I am feeling very upset by this. So I might need a few moments to just breathe. I might need a few moments just to process what's going on. And if that person that you're having this exchange with is unwilling to receive what you're saying, because they might be high in their emotions, right? Or they might be trying to get you or provoke you or whatever. But you are in control of you. You're not in control of nobody else. You're not in control of somebody spewing and keep going. You still can choose to walk away and regulate yourself and gather yourself so that you're not going high in your emotions in that moment, right? Because you don't want to do something or say something that you're going to regret. That's what I'm choosing to do, and I'm choosing to be a blessing. I'm choosing to now listen, de-escalate the situation seriously. Remember when I said that earlier? I used my mouth to de-escalate, but it really would potentially escalate a situation because I thought I was big bad wolf. But now I want to be a blessing, so I'm going to use my words and my mouth and my knowledge and my emotional intelligence to help de-escalate this situation by saying, you know what, I think we need to take a breather. Let's walk away. Whatever. If they continue, you know what, I'm just going to remove myself from the space completely. Whatever. Then I'll come back later and let them know, hey, that was, that didn't, I didn't feel good walking away from this situation, but I felt that that was the best thing for me to do at this time. And you know what? Maybe you had a bad day. I had to take you into consideration that maybe you had a bad day. Maybe me saying those things to you made you feel provoked. Maybe they humiliated you. Maybe they made you feel disrespected. So now I have to take accountability for what my actions could have brought up on you too, what could have potentially triggered you too. So let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. Let's work through it. How can I be, and me being a blessing looks like me being of service to someone. How can I be of service to you in this moment, right? How can I help you work through this? Yeah, actually, that I was, and because my boss had sent me this email 5 minutes when I had left in the day, and I had to rush to get it done, and it just messed up the rest of my day. And I just, I'm sorry. I wasn't really trying to, push that off on you, but because I was feeling some type of way, I did that. Well, you know what? I understand that because we're human. We don't always get it right. We mess up often. That's why God forgives us 70 times 7. And He going to stop counting because He's that type of God. Okay? So we need to do that for ourselves too. Forgive yourself for falling short. Forgive yourself for having a moment. It's a moment. Maybe something happened early this morning and it triggered you now in this moment that you're interacting with me, and now you going there from somebody cutting you off in traffic earlier. Something completely out of your control. But now this is happening, and so here you are reacting. We have to, and just like you feel like you're getting upset and mad and angry and whatever in your moment, people have their moments too. So I think I could be a blessing in being of service by utilizing utilizing my emotional intelligence and my wherewithal of myself, my self-awareness, my and being able to help us navigate through this feeling, right? And hopefully, just like if I was to spew the anger and plant that seed of here's another thing this person is compiling onto their anger within them by this interaction that we're having. I will, me being a blessing and being of service to you in that moment will be a new seed planted of positivity, of something you can tap into later, a new skill or a memory that you can tap into. I remember when me and Portia had this interaction. She did this. I could do this for this person now. I think, you know what, that made me feel really good. So I'm going to show up this way now in my relationships, right? Like it's all connected. Okay? It's all connected. Put self aside as far as our offenses. We'll be more in tune with ourselves that we can help somebody else through a situation, right? Because we're recognizing and doing the things that we need to do to get through said situations. Okay. Another thing that was brought to my attention was my friend Juma always says this about me. I'm a breath of fresh air in this polluted world, right? And I got another confirmation within listening to the word of God via a sermon, and they have read that scripture. And I don't even know if Juma knew he was quoting scripture necessarily, but I'm sure he did because he's brilliant that way. It just reminded me that, Portia, you got to stay steadfast, unmovable, unshakable in this world that is definitely polluted by this I gotta be tough exterior. I gotta show you better than I can tell you. I can still show you better than I can tell you in my positive actions. I don't have to be negative with you. I don't have to be nasty with you. I don't have to be any of those things, right? But because we're so used to operating in such a space, it's hard for us to um, comprehend, essentially. Okay. And I'm grateful that someone can see me today in that light. And possibly had Juma met me a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe he would have felt that way. Uh, But the Portia I am today has always been there. It's just like I'm imagining right now in this moment a studio, and the studio board has all the volume slide that you slide up and slide down, and you see the levels go up and down within the lights, right? And so this has always been a part of me. But now I am turning down the more negative, the trauma, the abuse, and all the things that made me feel or that have created and molded and shaped me to view life in such a harsh way. I'm turning those things down, and I'm turning the volume up on all the positive and good seeds that God has planted inside of me. And so my levels are changing. I'm not necessarily changing, but the levels within me have changed. And what I'm giving my energy towards, and what I'm giving my thoughts towards, and what I'm giving or choosing to express myself in has shifted and has changed. Okay. And so it's not that I'm better than anybody. It's not that I'm doing anything so spectacular, but I'm choosing, okay, not to live in a space that God hasn't called me to be in, period. Because He didn't say that's where I should be. God is always speaking. He's always speaking to us, regardless if we want to acknowledge it or not. But He continuously puts you in situations and keep allowing certain things to happen. Maybe not with the same person, sometimes even with the same person. You're going to be in this cycle or in this rut until you hear me, period. Even when we don't understand it, that's what's being said initially. I need you to learn from this. I need you to tap into this space of yourself more. I need you to gravitate towards this more. I need you to pull this value up, push it up, push this up. I need you to push that down, not suppress. I need you to push that down, like to the point that it's not even no, it's non-existent. You don't need that. They don't need to dwell in you any longer. I don't need to utilize that button. Yeah, I know you're supposed to use this for that or whatever, but you don't have to use that no more. Some things we take on as we enter this world because we are born into sin and shaped in iniquity. But it's some things that God has put in you that is innately inside of you. And we are so afraid to tap into it because this world has made us so harsh, has made us so tough and so rough and so hardened that nobody can break through that wall. Nobody can get through to you. And that's not what God wants for you. He doesn't want you to be that way. That's why He keep bringing certain things to you and people and situations up to you to try to help you break through those things that are keeping you in bondage. That's not where He wants you to be. My power does not come from performance or acting out. I ain't got to be doing all of this. You ain't gonna do me. I'm not the one. Da, 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 da. That's performance. That's acting out. My power doesn't lie in that. My power lies in the Lord. My power lies in that I know that He will never leave me nor forsake me. He will never allow me to be put in a situation that will compromise my integrity or any of those things. And if I am in a situation like that, that's because I chose to be. Because He gives us free will. But I'm not tapping into that space anymore. I want to tap into him because he's my power source. And I'm not going to allow this harsh, polluted world to make me feel less than. And I want to operate in being a blessing. I want to operate in being joyful and helping people and being a servant. They don't know how to elevate themselves because they don't know their source. Jesus. Within yourself is not the power to be kind to people who ain't been kind to you. Therefore, okay, you ain't got the power, babe. You can't do it on your own. Therefore, it's the God in me that I can tap into this way of being, even when others don't recognize it. It is not my job or my responsibility for you to understand where I am coming from. But what is my job and my responsibility is to show up the way that God has called me to do. It's about me doing what He has called me to do. Period. I think I worked through some more anger tonight. Because that even bothers me. Like, don't try to shape me and mold me to be what you want. I think I said this last episode because it's like that's such a huge thing for me. Like, I can listen to other people's point of views and perspectives and things like that and respect it. I understand and I hear where you are and why you are where you are. I hear it in your speech, I hear it in your tone, I hear it in your body language. I hear the words that you're saying without even saying them because I'm tapped in. I know. It's not my job to help you see the purpose that God has given me. And that's okay. I will continue to access the gift that's within me. And I hope and I pray that because God has allowed us to cross paths and to be in each other's life in whatever shape, form, or fashion that may look like, that seed will be planted within you for you to access the gift inside of you as well. I'm going to do these last few segments. Yes. So y'all know that I be picking my topics and stuff like that based off of where I am, and I just pretty much write things down as I'm experiencing them and what I'm kind of going through or whatever, or other people around me, right? So this is a segment where it's a call to action. The life be life in us all. Period. Hey, the village. Hashtag the village. This is where I have you all send in topics or other requests that you would like for me to talk about. So please feel free to email me at this email right here. Or my DMs are always open. You can shoot me a DM and let me know what you'd like to hear me talk about next or whatever. And we can go through it and experience it together, right? This is a segment where I share a few things that bring me joy in my life daily, okay? And you know what's really helping me through this right now? So a few things that brings me joy in my life daily, whatever at this time, and one of them is safe spaces, right? And these safe spaces that I have been cultivating with people, I can be free and let out those layers of me that are still a work in progress, that I don't have to feel judged or dismissed. Nothing but respect, love, and understand. I am just truly grateful to God for aligning me with people who see me fully and are willing to go through this journey with me. And that is by way of my very dear and near family and friends, my loved ones. Okay. But that's what's bringing me joy in my life right now, my safe spaces, because without them, I wouldn't be able to have a area to express myself and feel like I'm being heard and seen, and that they really truly care, and it just feels nice and cozy, and I don't have to be I don't have to put on a performance, or I could, you know, go to my default settings, right? And I won't feel attacked or judged or, oh, how dare you? You know what I'm saying? Like, those safe spaces are bringing me joy. And I really hope that you all out there are seeking safe spaces as well with like minded people who are willing to do the same thing that my safe spaces are doing for me. So that is my encouragement for you all to find safe spaces because they're bringing me so much joy, and I hope that they are for you. So we're gonna go to the last segment, as it always is. Speak life, okay? This is the segment where I leave you with a call to action for yourself, but not just for you, but for me as well. So I'll leave you with these words to hold on to until next time. Today's Speak Life affirmation is: I forgive myself for taking so long to let go. Okay? Again, today's Speak Life affirmation is: I forgive myself for taking so long to let go. You heard it, you say it, you write it down, and remind yourself to speak that thing and make it happen because life be life in us all. Thank you all again for tuning in to another episode of Life Be Life podcast. I love you, I appreciate you, and I thank you for being here with me. Per usual, please check out our sponsors, and thank you so much for all your love and support.